Hello and welcome to the podcast. I'm Lizzie.
And I'm John.
And this is Harry Potter and the Second Time Reader.
Yeah. I like doing the woo.
Yeah, you have to have like some reaction to it.
Yeah. Okay, we're on the next 4 chapters, which are Order of the Phoenix, the Noble and Most Ancient House of Black, the Ministry of Magic, and the Hearing. Some deep ethical questioned chapters. So give me a quick summary of chapter 5, which is the Order of the Phoenix.
Chapter 5 is just an information dump.
Okay.
Mrs. Weasley wants to protect Harry. Lupin and Sirius want to explain certain things to him. They have a big disagreement. Dumbledore thinks Voldemort is building his army back up. The Ministry of Magic refuses to accept that Voldemort is back. And there's like that whole... I feel like we touched on that before about like the Ministry versus Dumbledore or whatever.
We definitely will talk about that more, but we touched on that a lot.
My first note is Tonks is the greatest character.
I love this because Tonks is one of my favorite characters of all time. And the more you listen to season 1 as you go along in these books, the more you're going to realize how much I really love her. I think she's the greatest character. How could you
not? Like, how could someone not have her favorite?
Yeah,
like,
she's great.
She's the best.
Okay, so there is one really strange thing in this chapter. Well, there's a lot of strange things in this chapter, but there's this one note that says there was something about the slightly flattened tone of voice in which Sirius uttered Dumbledore's name that told Harry that Sirius too was not very happy with the headmaster. Harry felt a sudden upsurge of affection for his godfather. What is the deal with Dumbledore in this book so far? Because you haven't really seen him, right?
Yeah, he's MIA.
Yeah, he's like at the hearing, but that's really it. We'll talk about that when we get there, but he's like, why is he MIA? Is he doing some job? What's the reason that he's MIA?
He must be like doing some marketing for the Order of the Phoenix. Like,
doing some graphic design,
Instagram reels.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think he has to be like campaigning. Like subtly. Why are you
That's the greatest thing I've ever heard. Dumbledore is just in his office on Adobe Illustrator right now, just trying to come up with pamphlets.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I think he's like working behind the scenes. Yeah, I mean, once they get to the hearing, I have my thoughts about that Dumbledore experience, but for now, I think he's probably just trying to not be like super tightly associated with the Order of the Phoenix, just in case they're being watched and stuff. Little protection, little distance.
Yeah, this chapter does give you like an upsurge of affection for Sirius, as Harry's feeling. But another character battle that I want to talk about is: do you agree more with Mrs. Weasley in saying that they should stop? They shouldn't give the kids all the information, or do you agree more with Sirius saying that Sirius is like, we should give them everything? Let's tell them everything.
Well, was that Lupin and Sirius's stance was tell him everything?
I think it was more serious. I think Lupin was like, let's tell them stuff. Lupin's would probably be more like a teacher. Let's tell them what they need to know. But like we leave out maybe some of the more gruesome details. I think Sirius is like, we need to tell them everything.
Because I feel like Mrs. Weasley and Sirius and Lupin could have just had a normal conversation and been like, what if we told him this much? Okay. And then agree on that. But I feel like this whole fight was unnecessary because Mrs. Weasley really didn't protest that much as they were actually sharing information. So I was like, maybe she's like fine with the amount that they're sharing.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like that much.
I know, it really wasn't that much.
So it kind of felt like an overreaction, but she's also like stretched so thin right now that I feel like everything is an overreaction just because she's like in such an intense moment of life. But
she's in a very she's in a lot of stress right now. So her reactions aren't like completely I don't want to say trustworthy. I don't know what the word is. Rational.
Yeah.
I think they are very rational, actually. I think she's thinking through this very deeply. But maybe I don't know what the word would be.
I wouldn't tell him everything though. At all.
Huh, okay.
Because these guys just blab at Hogwarts in the presence of other people.
That's really fast. I thought you were going to say because of some like, they're still kids or something like that. You're like, because you literally can't trust them with information.
Yeah. I
I love
mean,
that.
that's a huge
Yeah.
like security
Yes.
issue. They just talk about stuff and everybody's around. Hogwarts is now gonna have like Umbridge and like who knows who else is like listening and being a little spy. It's
Okay.
like you just can't trust them to hold that information.
Which
I mean,
is-
depending on what you're telling them. I don't know what you're telling them, but
Could you make them like, okay, so we learned this about number 12 Grimmauld Place. It's under this thing called the Fidelia Charm, which is like this house is hidden. Could the same kind of magic apply to information? That if you shared that information, then like you would die because of it, or like so they could maybe they could be like, Harry, we're gonna tell you, but we're also gonna do this charm on you, so that if you blab to anyone else at school, you will, like have terrible diarrhea for like a month.
I was gonna go with like lose a limb. Maybe that's what happened to Moody.
Yeah, seriously, he blabbed and he started like losing. He lost
I
an
have
eye.
a crazy theory about Moody, but I think that's like
Ooh.
later.
Okay.
I think that's a great idea to have some like really threatening potion thing. Definitely threaten violence and pain.
You have like liar written across your forehead or something
Yes.
like that. Like sneak written across your forehead or something
That'd
like
be
that.
so good.
That'd be a little intense, to be completely honest.
How about just like a Pinocchio moment?
Like
that kind of thing.
Yeah. That'd be
would
actually
work.
great.
That's why Snape's nose is so messed up.
Dang. Snape is just a flat out liar. That's why he tried to like hex his nose back and his nose is all crooked because
Yeah.
he couldn't get it perfect.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
That's fascinating. I wonder, or not necessarily that I wonder. I think that'd be a cool bit of magic if you could actually protect information in that way in the magical world. Because then you could, but I mean, there's a point to it. What is the point of trust if you can't necessarily, if like you have to do those things with the people, if you have to like make ultimatums with them? That's not real true trust. That's like, twisting someone's arm or like forced trust.
Yeah. Because even with the Fidelius, you're leaving some of the power in like the hands of the person. And there's like, I trust you. You're my friend. You're more powerful than just using magic.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
For sure.
like real relationship with people.
Yep.
But
there are certain things that make the relationship, I guess, a little deeper or something like that. But I feel like the magic within even just like Dumbledore says this line in the first book, like music, a magic beyond all we do here. And I like the idea that there's magic in the mundane things like that. So like even in like a relationship, there's magic there. There's like mutual trust and respect for each other, and that just exists. And you don't need like another hex or like a spell to like firm that up. Although things like that probably do exist in this world. You could probably like firm up, like a relationship with some spell or something like that. But I like it without. There's just like mutual love and affection for the other person.
yeah, because if you had to give like your partner Veritas serum every day, it's like you don't really trust them.
Yeah.
Like you really don't have a relationship with them. There's more value in just like taking the risk and like letting it be what it is in a human way. I think that's more powerful than magic.
Yeah, I'm with you. Anything else in this chapter before we go on to the most noble and most ancient House of Black?
Lupin says something about goblins.
Yeah.
I think it depends what they're offered, said Lupin, and I'm not talking about gold. If they're offered freedoms we've been denying them for centuries, they're going to be tempted. Have you still not had any luck with Ragnarok, Bill? And I don't know who that is. And the goblins basically have suffered losses because somebody murdered a goblin. And I don't know why wizards are denying goblin rights.
Oh.
Because I know they run like the economics of the country because they hold the money.
Yeah, the bank, yeah.
But I feel like in this society, money isn't power necessarily. Like, I feel like in American society, it's definitely money is power.
Yeah.
But this doesn't feel like that. This feels like Voldemort is just powerful. The Ministry is just powerful. But I think they like, are they trying to get the money? Like they're trying to get Gringotts back, right?
What do you mean they're trying to get Gringotts
Like
back?
the Ministry wants the hold of Gringotts, I think.
Maybe.
But I don't know what rights they've been denying them. They don't have wands, right? Didn't you
they don't
say
have wands.
that?
Yep.
So can the goblins do like all the normal magic?
That's a great question.
Is there
Can they?
different genres of magic, like house elf magic and goblin magic?
House elves seem to be able to do magic without wands. We haven't really seen goblins do that because we haven't really met too many goblins. But what do you think the relationship between wizards and goblins does seem very fractured? It does seem very like dissonant. Do you think that is going to be going to bear a lot of plot in the later parts of the book?
Yeah, I think it has to, because the goblins are not gonna want to side with the wizards.
Okay.
So they're gonna just want to be with Voldemort, I guess. But that's why, like, they have to campaign for all these different groups of
Yeah.
magical creatures and
Dumbledore's
stuff.
putting out posters. Elf rights, goblin rights. We'll give these to you.
Are you a goblin? Feeling weak and powerless?
Call
Come
this
join
number.
Dumbledore's army. We need you.
You'd be a great copywriter. Copywriter for Dumbledore's army. For the Order of the Phoenix.
So yeah, there's definitely something ongoing there. Yeah, because this goblin is feeling pretty anti-wizard. He hasn't stopped raging about the Bagman business. Goblins never got their gold from him. So yeah. I don't know.
So you're definitely right. Goblins do seem to control the economics of the wizarding world, but it's you just don't know up until this point what else they have, what rights they're not being afforded or they're not being given, or even just the general relationships between wizards and goblins. We don't really know anything about goblins. I mean, up until this point, we're like, it'd be nice to have them on the good side, but you don't know if they're really creatures or beings that you want on the good side, I guess. But
I feel like you just want everybody on the good side.
Yeah, I know, for sure.
Take them all.
It's like anybody that we can get.
I don't care who you are, where you came from.
We'll take Dementors.
Join
please.
up.
Come suck the soul out of our bad guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so chapter 6 is the most noble and ancient House of Black. Give me a quick summary of this one.
This has to be my favorite one so far.
Really? Okay.
Because I was going crazy.
Yeah,
I don't really have a
the family
summary.
tree.
Yeah, it's just like the family tree. That's all it is in my mind.
Yeah.
That's my summary, was all in caps. Black family tree. This is all that matters. And I think that's true, because I was going crazy trying to think about how is everyone related.
Yep.
All of the purebloods are related, essentially,
Yes,
which is
essentially, yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
But Phineas Nigellus,
Yeah.
is that how you say it?
Phineas Nigellus Black.
Nigellus. He was like the great grandfather.
Mhm.
So I'm confused at why is their last name different? Wouldn't the whole tree be Nigellus's then, if that's the grandpa?
Oh, but they have girls, and then the girls marry other guys, and they take on the husband's name. So that's the split off. So,
so that's like a different branch of the tree.
Yeah.
So a Nigellus girl married a black man.
Yeah.
I can't say that. And then they had all of the.
No, I guess Nigellus is the guy's middle name. So
Okay,
so if he had a
confusing
black, if it was let's say, I don't know, a name, Andromeda Black, and then she married Tonks, her name just becomes Andromeda Tonks now. So then they have a kid, Tonks, but she's still in the Black family.
Paternal last names.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's happening all over the place. So the Malfoys are cousins with the Blacks, but you don't know really where their lines split. So they could be second or third or fourth cousins or something like that. But they're cousins together.
Then wouldn't they be?
They say it like they're immediate cousins, so it's probably like the grandfather. Split off a little bit, but
Black is cousins with Draco's
mom. Yeah.
So Tonks and Draco are second cousins.
Yeah. That's yeah. No, because Tonks is a aunt. Would be like a second aunt, I guess. So she's more like cousins with Sirius. She's more in that age group of Sirius than she is, which is a little weird. She's like in between, so
Isn't
I don't really know.
Tonks' mom and Draco's mom sisters? I'm pretty sure they're sisters.
Ah, you're right.
So
yeah.
then Tonks
Yeah.
and Draco are.
Wow, yeah,
first
you're
cousin.
right. Yeah.
I drew it out because I'm a visual person and I can't process information.
Oh, it's so funny when you were texting me about this. I was literally imagining the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where you're like looking in every direction, trying to piece these things together.
Literally.
It is a little bit confusing for. I mean, I guess I've read this 20 times and I still get confused by the house lines. But they are everything is kind of interconnected. There is a wizarding network in the wizarding world called the Sacred 28. There are 28 pure blood line families, and there is only 28 right now, and we've met a few of them, but we haven't really met all of them. We're not going to meet all of them, but the Malfoys are part of that. The Blacks are part of that. Weasleys are part of that, yeah, which is really interesting. They're like very much low on that, but they're part of the
genetically. That's so sketchy that there's
I
only
know.
28 of them.
Yeah. There's a lot of inbreeding going on. There's a lot of weird stuff going on.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But so Sirius is like 36, I think.
Yes.
And I realized that Regulus must have died like the same time that Voldemort died, or the Potters died.
Okay. So how did Regulus die?
I don't know. Something to do with that, I'm assuming.
Okay.
I don't like what did the book give us about Regulus? I don't remember what the given information was.
Not really a lot. I think Sirius just talks about how he died. And I don't think there's much else behind that.
Because he died 15 years ago, which is when the Potters and Voldemort went down.
Yep. Is he the older or younger brother of Sirius? Do you know?
Younger.
Yeah. So he died probably when he was, let's say, like, I don't know, like 19? Maybe younger?
He would be 21.
21 when he died?
Sirius would be 21.
Yeah, Sirius would be
Regulus
29.
died.
Yeah.
And Regulus was like, is that what you're saying? He's like 19?
So maybe Regulus was like 19 or like maybe like 18.
So
or
this is
like
like why did the Potters die? This is what's like confusing to me, because Regulus, I feel like, should be involved if it's all happening at the same time, but I don't know why.
I mean, a lot of people just died
killed.
like during that time, like he was just murdering a lot of people. So Regulus could have just been another one of his victims.
But Regulus like copped out of something, I think. He like didn't fulfill his orders.
Yeah, so he was part of the bad guys, and he didn't fulfill his order, so he just like died at the hands of Voldemort. And you don't know if it's like if this is like a really integral point of the plot. You don't know if this is just like a like a random character that you kind of, because there's a bunch of other random characters that you learn have died at the hands of other people. Like Molly, I think in this chapter or a few chapters, mentions her brothers, and her brothers both died from this. And she mentions that very much in passing. I think it's like a very hidden line.
Huh.
I don't even think that she mentions the connection between those being her brothers. I think this is mentioned actually later in this when they're going to King's Cross. I think they talk about a bunch of people who were in the Order of the Phoenix who just died, and they're just like most of these people are just one-offs that died. So Regulus Black just seems like a one-off that kind of just died. Like Sirius just mentions him, and he's like, this is my brother. He died at the hands of Voldemort. So I think a lot of what this chapter is trying to accomplish is like saying these people, like a lot of people were just like, thrown under the bus.
Just like the meaninglessness of death in life.
Yep. Like so many people died for this cause in the positive and negative side of things. And I think you're getting the weight of that because you realize how many people died or were tortured into insanity or whatever. And they were all so young. Like that's when you had this realization when we were texting. You're like, they were 21 when they died, which is crazy. It
is crazy. I feel like Sirius has more siblings. And I think you like, I don't know. You were like, we don't know that yet. So then that makes me feel like there probably is more siblings.
Maybe I'm just gaslighting you.
I don't know anymore. But it feels like there has to be, just based on this whole family tree thing. I think there has to be like some squib hiding in the family tree.
They would definitely not like that, the Black family.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why is the mom so pissed all the time?
Because she's pure blood mania. That's what it does to you.
So who's not being pure blood though? Like, Sirius? Does Sirius have like a Muggle girlfriend? That's what I'm saying.
Well, Hermione's in the house, so she's freaking out about that, and then she's freaking out about what she calls blood traitors, which are like the entire Weasley family are all blood traitors.
Just because they associate with.
Yeah, just because they associate with Muggleborns.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I don't know if I am with that.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're not with that.
No, but I feel like there's more to that. I'm saying like I don't believe that she's just mad that Hermione's in the house. And I'm like, what if Tom Riddle, I'm still confused about this whole Tom Riddle guy, and like as opposed to Voldemort. But what if he's like in the family tree? Because is Tom Riddle, he was not a pureblood, right? Because he said something about the Muggle moms.
Yeah.
So he's not part of the... Well, he could be part of the tree, but he's not a pureblood. But how is like Tom Riddle Voldemort and then Voldemort's not a pureblood?
That's a great question.
This was me like at that night where I was like, I can't figure this out. This is why. This was all the thoughts that were going on.
Okay, you are bringing up a fantastic question in this series. Is how many people... So Voldemort is not pureblood.
Which is
We've come to that realization. Tom Riddle is Lord Voldemort. Yeah. So Tom Riddle is not a pureblood. He talks about his Muggle mother. He like throws that out there as a little bit of information. So we learned that in book 2. But how many people know that Tom Riddle is not a pureblood?
Like anyone who knows him in his life is Tom Riddle.
How many people know about his life being Tom Riddle?
I don't know. Did Tom Riddle kill the Potters or did Voldemort kill the Potters?
He transitioned. We're gonna see this as the books go on, but he slowly made this transition. He didn't. One of the reasons he didn't want to be known as Tom Riddle anymore is because he wanted to shed his past. So we'll get there when we get there.
Because he kills his parents.
How do you know that?
Because of the house at the beginning of book 4.
Yeah. So more information will come out about this, but whether he was Voldemort when he killed Lily and James, definitively. When he made the transition from being Tom Riddle to being more like Voldemort, we will get there when we get there.
So would Molly and James recognize Voldemort as being Tom Riddle? Or they're like, who is this guy? Boom, they're dead.
No, it's like they wouldn't. Tom Riddle, oh, man, you're asking great questions.
Because I have also no visual concept of like what the difference looks like and like where that happens.
The difference is one, Tom Riddle was a charming kid. Like uncommonly attractive as well. He was like people were very attracted to him. And like not even just like a physical or like sexual sense. They were attracted to him just because he had like a very charismatic personality. Yeah. He was like, this guy was like a cool kid. And then all of a sudden he started changing his appearance a little bit. So like even Voldemort doesn't really look like Tom Riddle anymore because he started like changing his appearance to be more snake-like.
Oh, he like did that on purpose?
Yeah. Like why he did that is a really interesting question. We'll get there when we get there. Again, you're asking great questions.
I thought that was part of like breaking your soul up. You just
it could be. And that's the thing. But if you're breaking your soul up, is that voluntary or involuntary? Like it's probably a voluntary thing that he's doing this, and maybe this is happening to him physically because he's breaking his soul into so many different parts.
My mind is like going insane.
You're asking fantastic questions for this one though. Like that, these are the questions that are they. I promise you, they will get answered. I will not answer them right here though. But you're asking great questions. But even my question to you before: how many people do you think know about Tom Riddle and his past?
I think it has to be anyone who was in school with Tom Riddle up till the point of transformation into Voldemort. And then I think probably only some people are aware that Voldemort was Tom Riddle, or that Tom Riddle did that to himself. Because
Okay.
there has to be people that just don't keep up with him. It's like they don't have Hogwarts reunions and they're like, whoa, Tom's like half a snake now.
Yeah, Voldemort's coming back to his 20-year reunion.
Yeah. So I don't know. Was that a dead spider? No, it's a fuzz.
Dead spider.
Wes!
Look at you.
Come
You're joining the
closer.
podcast party. Good boy, Pod. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Great questions.
Wait.
Questions. But
I need to find my phone because I wrote something in my. That's like one more theory that I thought of.
Hit me with all the theories.
All right. I haven't read this since I wrote it down, so I'm not sure if it's coherent.
Mm-hmm.
But what if the Potters were Aurors and they killed Regulus and he was a Death Eater, and then Voldemort got back at the Potters by killing the Potters because they killed Regulus? That was my... Like, I don't know when are all these people existing together. Like, that would make sense to me if the Potters were Aurors. I don't know if we've been told that they are or not, but what if the Aurors killed Regulus because Regulus was dark,
Mm-hmm.
and then
I love these
Voldemort
theories.
killed them? I don't know.
It's a fantastic theory.
It doesn't feel right though.
There's maybe some loopholes in it, but maybe those loopholes will get buttoned up in future chapters.
Do we know what the Potters did?
No.
Do you know what they did?
Yeah.
Okay, so were they Aurors?
I'm not answering that question.
That makes sense to me because then you'd have a target on your back.
Yeah, in part. I mean, that's a huge question in this book of why did Voldemort go after the Potters?
But Voldemort is not nice enough to like have a revenge killing.
Yeah, for sure. He doesn't care about anything else except for him. It's a great point. It's a great point.
I don't know. I'm lost and confused.
Good. This is making for great content then. One question that I have in this chapter too is Sirius mentions this weapon.
The Sword of Gryffindor.
Yeah.
Is it really?
I'm not going to tell you.
Oh,
That's
what I think it is, because that's the only weapon that like we know of.
Yeah. What would a sword do?
Well, I was thinking that Voldemort thinks the sword has power because the Sorting Hat and the Phoenix brought the sword to Harry.
Okay.
So he's like, okay, the sword must be powerful. But maybe the sword is like some type of Horcrux that like he needs it to put the puzzle together, or like he needs to destroy it to like destroy the house of Gryffindor, and then like just the Salazar Slytherin guy can reign. But that's only like actual weapon that we have. Like things can be utilized for darkness very powerfully, but that's the only weapon.
Again, so just to even refresh, you do know about Horcruxes, correct?
Yeah, like extremely vaguely.
Yeah, very vaguely. Do you know any? Tell me what you know about Horcruxes.
And they hold like a seventh of Voldemort's soul.
So are they objects?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They're objects, but they
Do you know what these objects are?
So Harry's one, the diary that he stabbed with the basilisk thing is one. I'm saying the sword is one.
Okay.
I don't know if the sword is one.
All right. And you just don't know the rest of them.
Yeah, I don't think I know the rest of them.
All right, great.
But
interesting.
This is also my thing. I don't know if he needs to like gather the Horcruxes and like do something to put all them together, and then it's like his soul is back like full force. Like he needs to retake the pieces of his soul.
Okay.
or if he needs to like destroy them.
Huh.
And then like in destroying the Horcruxes, he can become like his final Voldemort form. So I don't know why he wants, assuming the Sword of Gryffindor, I'm like, maybe he needs to like destroy the Horcrux with the sword, like the same way that Harry destroyed the journal thing.
All right.
Because like I don't know if Voldemort took damage from the thing being destroyed, you know?
Yeah.
Or when you destroy it, does the soul like not have a tether and then the soul comes back to him? That's what I'm thinking with the, like, I don't know why he wants the Horcruxes back. Like there's so like just a random like floating particle of a thought that has no context.
Why? Who wants the Horcruxes back? Voldemort?
Yeah, well, I think he wants them back. I don't know if I know Dumbledore wants the Horcruxes.
Okay.
I don't know why Dumbledore wants the Horcruxes. I can't even. I think no, because I feel like if you destroyed the Horcrux, the soul would just be like shoop, and then it would go back to Voldemort. Because like a soul needs a tether, and if it's not tethered, that's what you always say. They're tethers to
Tethers,
Earth.
yeah.
So if the soul's not tethered, it's just gonna zoom off back to.
A Horcrux discussion will come, but not quite yet. I'm glad that we got here. There's some interesting notes, interesting little tidbits and chapters.
What do you think the weapon is?
I know what the weapon is.
Let's just share a little bit. What was like your full-fledged question though? Because I feel like I answered it before you finished, and maybe I like.
No, I was like that was my full. It's just what Sirius mentions this weapon, and what do you think the weapon is? It could be the Sword of Gryffindor. It's a great guess. It's an object that we know about right now, but the question is, why would he be seeking this sword? What is the purpose of this sword? So if you think it's a Horcrux, it's interesting because you think Voldemort is trying to harvest his Horcruxes again. What purpose would he be harvesting his Horcruxes again? Why would he need to do that? If they're just tethers, they're not really. If they're like holding his soul and are not really like parts of his soul, why would he need to harvest those? Which is again bringing up fascinating things that we will talk about as the books go on. Bringing up great questions.
Because the Sorting Hat did bring it to.
It's kind of like his paw. It's so cute.
He brought the Sorting Hat and Fawkes brought the sword to Harry, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't like use it.
He used it to stab the basilisk.
No, he used the tooth of it to stab the journal.
Yeah, but he used the sword to stab the basilisk.
So the basilisk is dead?
Yep.
So maybe like that's what I think Voldemort might think the sword is like super powerful then. Like that was a little hint to him. Yeah.
That's a great question. Liz, you're bringing up great points, and we cannot talk about these here, but you're gonna re-listen to these podcasts, and then we'll get on to like book 6 and 7, and then we'll have full discussions on that there, and it's gonna be great. I can't wait. It's gonna be fun.
Where's the thing where they have the building plans? What chapter is that?
The Ministry of Magic, I think.
That's 7.
That's 7, yeah.
Are you saying the building's the Ministry of Magic?
Wait, what building plans?
You know, there's like a paper on the table, and she like shoves it into.
Oh.
Is that
we
the
don't
Ministry?
know that. I thought you were talking about the building plans because Jim Kay has building plans of the Ministry of Magic in that book.
Oh.
But that's we don't know
I saw
what
that. That was a
we
great
don't know what.
illustration.
Yeah, that was a cool illustration. Yeah, we don't know what the building plans are that Molly has here, that Molly shows away.
But is it the Ministry?
Maybe.
I don't know what it is.
It could be the Ministry, and it's interesting because they're talking about these building plans, and then the next chapter is the Ministry of Magic. So maybe that's like a hint saying this is what the building plans are.
No, I think that's a decoy. That's like too obvious. I think the building is the building that is Harry's dream of all the doors.
Where is that place?
I don't know, but
it's great.
Is that where Sirius dies? I think that's where he dies. He dies in this book, right? I should have worn my Sirius shirt.
Oh, I know. That would have been great.
I'll wear it next time.
That's a great shirt. Next time you gotta wear it.
I think he dies in this book.
Okay.
Because I think he dies in that thing with all the doors in it.
Okay. That's the only real death you know of in this entire series. But where is this place with all the doors?
Like Voldemort's headquarters. I don't know. I have nothing. I'm like blank.
All right, let's go on to the Ministry of Magic chapter because that's yeah. We're gonna that question's gonna come up all the time because Harry has all these dreams all the time about this, so that will come up more. But the Ministry of Magic chapter 7. Give me a quick summary of this.
I don't have a summary. It just describes
Yeah.
the ministry
Yeah.
and like they go through this court thing. You
Yeah.
see a lot of like world building stuff.
This one and the next one, this one is essentially just world building, which is really fun world building. You see offices, you see like there's weather in different windows. That's kind of cool.
I love the memos flying around.
Yeah, it's
That's
such a good
cool.
idea. Rather than owls, they have paper airplanes. It's great.
It's different than I expected it to be,
Okay.
but
What did you expect?
it feels right.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it kind of portrayed as a little like unprofessional to me. I thought it was going to be more like clean cut type of thing and like the Capitol building vibes.
Yeah.
But like it doesn't seem like that.
They make it like that in the
Especially-
movies. They make it very clean cut in the movies.
Okay. Even like does it like get progressively worse like the lower down you go
It seems
though?
like it, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And then like the changing the courtroom, I hate that.
Yeah, well, that's the hearing chapter. Again, there's not a ton that
Oh.
happens in the Ministry chapter. The Ministry of Magic chapter is essentially just the layout of the Ministry of Magic. I don't really have any questions about this, but if you have any notes about that, you can talk about them. But if not, we'll just kind of move on to the next one.
Yeah, I really don't either. I don't even think I underlined like anything.
Yeah,
in here.
there's not a lot that happens. There's a few notes like Harry wakes up in dread in that morning, which is like brutal. You hurt for him because I feel like I've had that feeling too. You wake up, you're like, oh crap, I got to deal with that today. But he goes to the courtroom, all that kind of stuff. But it's just world building.
Yeah. Chapter 8.
Yeah, but chapter 8 is the hearing. Lots of great questions in this one. Tell me a quick summary of this one.
Harry gets his hearing notice and they go down to the ministry, but then the courtroom changes and there's like no notices of that. So they obviously did that on purpose to like
Okay.
try to sneak around him. Yeah.
Great.
Dumbledore shows up.
Yeah. by
Umbridge shows up.
Okay. The trial seems like a complete farce right now, but what do you think about what's going on with this trial?
I think Fudge is trying to, as early as he can, just get Harry out of the picture. Which you can't, in impartial justice, you can't use the smear campaign. Like they can't be like the Wizen Gambit. What are they called?
Yeah.
They can't like use that information, but I'm sure he's trying to influence them. The people on the stand, like Umbridge, I feel like is not impartial.
Yeah.
The Bones is the good lady, right? Is she?
Yeah, she
She's
seems like
nice.
she's like the good one.
Fudge is like just wants to get it over with, doesn't want to hear it, which is disgusting.
Yeah,
like
he's awful.
that's his job, is to judge and listen and whatever. But Dumbledore showed up miraculously. I love that. But this was a line that
I love that he gives his full name here too.
oh, yeah, his name is like Wulfric too.
Witness for the defense: Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore.
And I was like, oh, Wulfric is a hot tamale. I wonder if he's named after him.
Yep.
No, wait, I like this line though, because this is about the house having like the secret like special thing.
Okay.
We have no record of any witch or wizard living in Little Whinging.
Yes.
I keep saying
You nailed
whining
it.
in my mind.
It kind of is, yeah.
Little whining. Little whinging. Other than Harry Potter, said Madam Bones at once. That situation has always been closely monitored given past events. So like they're monitoring the house. They're monitoring the wizards.
It's a great point you were bringing up even prior podcasts. Yeah.
That's a big foundation of my belief that like the house definitely has something.
Yeah,
going
it
on.
seems like that. And it seems like just because it's Harry Potter, they've given that thing special surveillance. But if they've given it special surveillance, they should know all these things that are happening with it.
Keep talking. Go ahead.
So even within this, they're talking about
I just got distracted.
they're talking about Harry, and they were able to detect that he did magic in this one little section. I mean, how are they able to do that?
How are they able to detect magic?
Yeah.
Because they're the Ministry of Magic. I don't feel like that's important.
It's a basic answer. Duh, John.
I feel like you've talked about this before, that it's like they detect it in the vicinity.
Yeah, the trace. Yeah. Okay.
And then just because Harry Potter's the only wizard in that area, it obviously has to be Harry, which really isn't necessarily true, but
yeah,
like you keep saying, in the Weasley's house, it's like nobody's gonna care because there's like grown-up wizards there.
Yes. Good.
I'm learning.
I know you're nailing it, remembering all these things. I'm so proud. Okay. Can Figgy see Dementors?
Yes.
So all Squibs can see Dementors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless they're blind.
And Muggles cannot see Dementors.
I wasn't under the impression that Dudley couldn't see it. It's just dark outside. Like no one can see it. Why? Can Dudley not see it?
Yeah, Dudley's not able to see it.
How do you know that though?
Because they mention it in this chapter.
Really?
Yeah, because they say, I think one of them, when they're questioning Fig, they say, I wasn't aware that Squibs could see Dementors, and it goes hand in hand with saying Muggles can't see them, so then Squibs can't see them because they're as good as Muggles.
Oof.
Yeah, it's like a little harsh.
But Squib is just like the inability to harness your magic, I feel.
No, not well. I mean, it's a great question for what it actually is. Up until this point, the only thing that we really know what it is we think that it is a lack of ability to do magic. But do they have magic residing in them?
Yeah, I think so.
So a Squib can do some kind of magic.
Well, that's why who's the Squib teacher? Is that Filch?
Oh yeah, he's not a teacher. He's just
because was he not like enrolled in some little class to like get a little bit of magic out?
He was trying, but it wasn't working for him. So
see, that's what I feel like they could do. I really, to be completely honest, I did not question this at all until like now, or you were talking to the first time readers, and I was listening to that today. But maybe that's just me being gullible and just like trusting people. But it low-key makes sense because when you look at how she reacted in the beginning, she's like, keep your wand out. Yeah, what are you doing? Yeah. So then I'm like, is she afraid and like she can't actually see what's going on? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Because she can't really do magic, so she's terrified. She's like, do whatever.
And she's depending on Harry. But I don't know. I don't want to believe that she can't see it. I just don't know like why you wouldn't be able to. That doesn't make sense to me because like they're very material things.
Yeah, but they're wait, let me look through this real quick. We are introduced we'll talk about this in the next podcast, and you've already read the next 4 chapters. You've read up until the next 4 chapters. We're introduced to a character or to a creature that only people who have seen death can see. So it's the same thing for a Dementor.
It didn't explain that. What? They can only see them if they see death? I
think they explained that in that chapter.
What chapter? Maybe not the chapter I read.
Oh, gosh.
That's so good. Yes. No! I was so confused. That's awesome.
Dang it.
Yes.
That's all right. That's not that good of a spoiler.
You like owe me $10 or something now for spoiling
I can't believe this is maybe the first time I've ever given away a spoiler. I'm so bummed.
I'm not. I'm elated. That's amazing. What did Luna see? Why did she die?
We'll talk about that next podcast.
Luna
you can go crazy over me giving a freaking spoiler away.
I haven't heard like the Lovegood name yet, I don't think.
Yeah, we don't know the Lovegood.
So there's like they must have died like
I'm devastated. I can't believe I gave away a spoiler.
I'm so happy. That's so good. Yeah, because all it kind of got to was like Harry's like, man, if Luna's a weirdo and she can
Yeah,
see
yeah,
them, like, why can I see them? And like
Yeah.
they didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And Luna didn't explain it.
We'll talk about that next freaking podcast. Dang it.
Yes.
Ugh, come on. That's the first time I've ever actually legitimately given up a spoiler. It's a bummer.
Great.
All right. Do you have anything else?
Well, you told me Dumbledore dies like day one, and I was like, "Excuse me."
I told you that day one.
And you were like, "Obviously, you remember that Dumbledore died," and I was like, "Well,
you
I don't know, really."
Yeah, that's when I didn't really realize that you
Yeah.
hadn't read you didn't fully
just
remember everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I've given a few spoilers away. You're
it's
an anomaly.
okay.
I gave you a
appreciate
little bit of information there.
That was a
so.
good one. That like is exciting to me.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite pieces of like magic in the whole series. But some people can see this and some can't. So the same is true for Dementors in a different way. Rather than like there's certain wizards who can see it and who can't. This one's Muggles can't see it and wizards can.
Okay.
So-
I'm convinced. I feel like you're just making a good point. And I feel like you're very convinced. So I'll just be like, okay, John, you're right.
Yeah, this is something you definitely just trust in the series. That certain people can see these things and certain people can't.
I believe you.
One other question I have in this chapter before we wrap it up is what is Dumbledore's issue? Why is he not looking at Harry?
I think it's to maintain like the thing that they don't really know each other outside of Hogwarts.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
And just a professional relationship. Like he's not any more important than anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you're like, oh yeah, we're just like hanging out at like headquarters, like that's not normal. That's obviously, I don't know, conflict of interest, even though he's like on Harry's side. I just think he's trying to maintain distance
Yeah.
as much as he can, especially in front of Fudge, because Fudge is very anti-Dumbledore and anti-Harry.
Yeah. Trying to maintain like this professionalism rather than just like, I actually have a good relationship with this kid.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's good. Great answer. Okay, give me your final wrap up. Who's your favorite? Who's the house cup? Who's your hot tamale of these chapters? And what is your favorite moment?
House cup. I'll do the twins.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like they're funny here.
Yeah.
They're just good comedic relief.
Yeah, they're good.
Hot tamale. I'll just go serious. And then what's the last one?
Favorite moment.
Oh, yeah, favorite moment. I always forget that. I like. Wait, what did we start with? What chapter did we start with?
The Order of the Phoenix, chapter 5.
Yeah, I just like Harry like interacting with all the Order people.
Yeah.
And like even getting his questions answered, even though he didn't really ask great questions. So, like all that. But I like that the little backstory he gets. And that he gets to like meet Moody, hang out with Lupin again, because I think he really liked Lupin.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, those are good moments. I'm kind of with you on a lot of those. I do think I'm gonna say my favorite character in this is Mr. Weasley. I feel like he introduces Harry to the Ministry of Magic, which is really cool.
That was nice.
It's kind of fun. I think hot tamale. I'm going Dumbledore.
Ayo.
And I think my favorite moment is when Dumbledore walks into the trial and you're like, oh, okay, everything's gonna be okay. Yeah. You're like stressed out before that, but then Dumbledore walks in. You're like, we're good now. We're good.
It's true. Well, thanks for joining us on our journey of Harry Potter and the Second Time Reader.
Bye.
See ya.